here.
Likewise at the end, we can do announcements and why it's not.
That is something I would have said I never heard of, but normally it's twice, three times.
For camera, showing everybody. This is our church purpose.
Well, private colleges, which I heard is not one. I don't know anybody in public. Yeah, I don't know how my son did, so I'm not going to go with that. Or not qualified to hire a scholarship.
Singing, whatever. Kind of just have background. That's the
It may have got a pandemic thing when
these channels
decided that they were going to loosen up some or something. I don't know.
has a DCA.
Tuition. So they
Maybe they have a picture of that class.
get under
So if I turn this off, then whatever's going on in the house comes out. But they get grouped together in some space. So that favors all the now.
well, guys,
Likewise for the choir.
no secret. I mean, 'cause I wanted ours. I don't want.
It's the house is actually
Got it.
drainage is a subpiece. So whatever's rooted in the house also makes the string. But if you go big, right? If you big something in the house,
What's it?
Like this better. Don't take off.
Okay, go.
set their level to be unique.
I guess that's usual, right? You know, going down to Jacksonville, going to Blackstone on 10, South. I've done that a Beyond that.
Yeah, I know. That's still what, dude, the games, oh, so they won? The Diamondbacks won? Oh, no. They won. Oh, they won. And what about Padres?
I'm sure I mentioned this.
Yeah, I know. But it's nice, you know, I'll watch it. Yeah, right. It's pretty confounding. It's good. It's, yeah, before that, Giants, it was Giants. So it's like, well, but in September, the Mets are out of it. Football, what time are you going to watch yours? After 6? Okay. Oh, right. What a faster. That's going to be hard. Wait, they're real good, yeah. So, it's like 3 seats.
Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I am Elizabeth Horn, a member of this congregation and the worship team here at 1U. Today, we are pleased to welcome our special guest, Reverend Dr. Tracie Barrett, to lead worship. We are also joined by Ansley Horn and Board of Trustee member Paul Knight. Today, it's very exciting, Reverend Margley will be leading Children's Chapel with our Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrell, and Director of Music, Aubrey Connelly-Candelario. Our accompanist, Daniella Monzon-Villegas, will remain in the sanctuary to lead music this morning. And let's not forget our teams of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure that we come together for worship this morning. So thank you. So, as I mentioned, today children will be sung out earlier in the service than usual due to our Children's Chapel. So that will happen after our chalice lighting. The nursery is open until noon. We also have children's choir rehearsing at its usual time after service and the youth group meeting after the service at 12:15. We greet you this morning, old friends and new ones, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are a non-creedal community that does not subscribe to a specific set of beliefs. We live by a covenant that encourages ethical behavior, affirms democracy, celebrates the worth of each individual, and unites us in a search for truth and meaning. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. For more information about our congregation and announcements, please go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. We do have a special announcement today, so I'm going to invite Reverend Kirsten Humblett-Allen to join me.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Kirsten Humblett-Allen, and I serve as the affiliated minister here in this congregation. And I wanted to let you know about something really exciting happening here at 1U at the beginning of November. So you may have heard about Amendment 4, which is going to be on our ballot in November to restore and protect abortion access here in Florida. Very exciting, yes. We have been doing some work here with the Amendment 4 campaign over the last few months to host folks here on our campus to get educated and then go out and canvass and talk to voters. And as an extension of that work, in partnership with UU The Vote, which is a UUA initiative, we're going to host a weekend of action the weekend before the election. So November 1st to the 3rd here on our campus. And it's very exciting, yes. So UUs are going to come from other congregations here in Florida or maybe out of Florida. We're going to have interfaith partners involved and our community organization partners as well. Friday night, we're going to host a welcome dinner potluck and a chance to put together some abortion care kits as a community here. Saturday, we're going to have a rally. We're going to have a chance to go out and canvass or phone bank. And then we're going to have a party here afterwards with food and music and good times. And then, oh my, and then if you want to go out and canvass again, there'll be a second canvass on Saturday. So sleep well the night before. And then Sunday morning, we're hosting a special worship service focused on the election and on this amendment with Nicole Presley, who is the Side with Love director at the UUA, is going to be preaching here. And then we'll have a lunch, and then we'll have another canvass. So if you have been involved with this campaign, this is a great way to keep going. If you have not been involved, this is going to be an awesome way to join your community and really get out the vote the weekend before the election. So I'll be over in coffee hour after church if folks have questions, want to sign up to volunteer, want to sign up to host a homestay of someone who's coming from out of town. I'll also have lots of campaign swag and free yard signs. So come on over, come talk to me. I know people love a yard sign. So anyway, we're voting yes on Thor in November, and we're taking action to help other people do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Kirsten. Passion is contagious. So all other announcements are on slides before and after the service and have links in the weekly update or on our website. If you'd like to follow along with the service, please use the QR code shown in the monitor and on the first few slides and in the envelope in the pew in front of you. Finally, please plan to stay for fellowship in Gore Hall across the courtyard. If you'd like quieter, casual conversation, move around the corner into the Gore Hall foyer and the conversation corner. All are welcome, but a special invitation goes out to visitors who, or those with questions about today's service or our congregation. Thank you again for being here with us in person and online today.
Please say the words with me as we light the chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Let's sing our young people out to Children's Chapel by lifting up our arms in a loving arch for them to walk under as we sing This Little Light of Mine. They will first light this lantern and take light from this chalice with them, and with that light they will light their chalice.
Thank you. So please rise or remain risen in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. The words will appear on the screen above, and please repeat the song 3 times. If you're so inclined, you're encouraged to sing this hymn as a round. I guess figure that out. Yeah.
Beautiful. You may be seated. Thank you. Our call to worship this morning is titled, "We Arrive Out of Many Singular Rooms" by Kenneth L. Patton. We arrive out of many singular rooms, walking over the branching streets. We come to be assured that brothers and sisters and our non-binary siblings surround us. To restore their images on our eyes, we enlarge our voices in common speaking and common singing. We try again that solitude found in the midst of those who with us seek their hidden reckonings. Our eyes reclaim the remembered faces. Their voices stir the surrounding air. The warmth of their hands assures us, and the gladness of our spoken names. This is the reason of cities, of homes, of assemblies, and houses of worship. It is good to be with one another. Come, let us worship together this morning. Now let us take a moment to greet one another. You can shake hands, fist bump, elbow bumps, whatever. And remember, we still have a service. You can continue conversations during coffee hour. So while we did sing our children out to chapel, the time for all ages is just that, a time for all ages. And so our story today is Sophia's Guest by Becky Brooks. Once upon a time, there was a teacher named Sophia, and she'd been a teacher in the town where she lived for so long that the kids she first had in her class grew up and had kids of their own and sent them to her class too. Nearly everyone in town knew Sophia and loved her because not only was she an excellent teacher, she was also very kind. Now, one day when Sophia got to work, she found a note on her desk. And the note read, "Dear Sophia, I will be around tomorrow. I wonder if I might stop by your house for tea tomorrow afternoon. Your friend, God." Now, at first, Sophia thought it was a joke, but the more she thought about it, the more she realized that if it was a joke, it wasn't a very funny joke, and she couldn't think of anybody who would play a joke on her like that. Then she thought, what if it wasn't a joke? What if God really was coming to her house tomorrow afternoon? Sophia thought she should get ready just in case. So on her way home from work, she stopped by the store and bought one of those mats that people put on their porch that says in big letters, "Welcome." And when she got home, she cleaned her house from top to bottom. She brought in fresh flowers from the garden and put them in a vase in the living room. She cleaned and cleaned until everything was sparkly. In the morning, Sophia realized she didn't know what God liked to eat, so she baked bread and made a casserole and a fruit salad and baked some cookies too. And what about the tea? Did God like hot tea or iced tea? She thought she better make both. And what if God's favorite thing in the whole world was lemonade? She should make some of that too. She was so nervous, and she didn't know what to expect. And just then, there was a knock at the door. Sophia's heart went pat, pat, pat. She took a big breath and opened the door slowly, and on the other side was the mayor of the town. "Well, hello, Sophia. I was walking by and smelled that delicious fresh baked bread." And Sophia said, "I'm so glad you're here. Come in, come in. I'm expecting a very important visitor who you might want to meet. Please come in and make yourself at home." So Sophia and the mayor sat having a nice discussion when there was a knock at the door. And Sophia's heart went pat, pat, pat. She took a deep breath and opened the door slowly, and on the other side was a group of children from her class. "Hello, Miss Sophia. We were walking by and noticed the smell of fresh-baked cookies." And Sophia said, "I am so glad you're here. Come in, come in. I'm expecting a very important visitor who you might want to meet. Please, come in and help yourself to some cookies." The children were giving the mayor some much-needed advice when there was a knock at the door. Sophia's heart went pat, pat, pat. Deep breath, open door. It was the entire Women's Covenant group from church. "Hello, Sophia. We heard the tea kettle and laughter and thought you might be having a party." And Sophia said, "I'm so glad you're here. Please come in, come in. I'm expecting a very important visitor who you might want to meet. Please come in and make yourself at home." All afternoon, people stopped by Sophia's house, lured by the yummy smells and happy sounds. The townspeople filled her home, upstairs, downstairs, and overflowed into the backyard. As they got hungry, they made dinner together and ate as the sun set and the moon rose. It was a great party. People were playing games and telling stories and baking music and talking together. Sophia had such a great time that she completely forgot about her very important guest. Even as she waved goodbye to her friends at the end of the night, she only felt contentment at having such a lovely party. In the morning, though, Sophia woke up and remembered everything. She was confused. Whatever happened to God? All during her walk to work, she tried to figure out what happened. And along the way, she smiled and waved to the people she ran into who had been at her party. She thought to herself, she really should do that again. When Sophia arrived at work, she was surprised to find another note on her desk. It read, "Dear Sophia, I had such a wonderful time yesterday. The bread was delicious, the cookies were divine, tea mixed with lemonade is my favorite. Thank you for being such a wonderful host. I hope we can do it again soon. Love, God." Now I invite Paul Knight for our invitation generosity. You were waiting for the kids to sing.
They called an audible on me. I should have paid attention at the morning meeting. As you guys know, I'm Paul Knight, and I serve on the board with Greg and many other wonderful people that are providing service to the community through our board of directors. Today, as we always do on Sunday, we invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values which sustains the life and ministries of the church and the community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. So I skipped a couple of lines there, but Share the Plate partner for September is the Adult Literacy League. You can use the QR code up here if you'd like to donate directly to them, and please let the office know if you made a donation to one of our partners. Thank you, Danny, for the beautiful music, and let us be joyful to receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
This is the time we set aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow that you need witnessed or helped with, or have a joy that you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read each Sunday during worship. You can send an email to joysandsorrows@orlandouu.org any time during the week. If you are attending in person, you can also fill out a card at the registration table and hand it to an usher before the start of service, and after the meditation, we will call you forward to participate in our candle lighting ritual. Bring your joys and your sorrows as we come together. Come as you are. Your whole self is welcome in this sacred space we are creating together. And now our joys and sorrows from One You. Elizabeth Blake and David Coney are pleased to be back in person at UU after 8 years in the Cayman Islands. Welcome back. We are happy to have you. And Sydney Sims shares that her maternal grandmother has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. We are so sorry. The community here holds you. Today's flowers were brought by Karina Valdry in honor of the fall equinox, so thank you for that. And from the larger community, we continue to hold our Orlando families in love, our communities with care, and the world with our compassion by acting for justice in all of the small and large ways that will move the arc of justice. And for all the joys and sorrows of this community shared today, and for those held close to our hearts, let's pray, let's celebrate, and let's send each other healing energy. I now invite us into a meditative prayer with these words from Linda Susan Ulrich. Spoken words will be followed by a moment of silent contemplation. Open up the doors. Push on the looming wooden arches embroidered with ironwork. Brace shoulders against the weight of history unmoved. Slough off the musty smell of unused joy and stored up sorrow. Knock rust off the hinges if you have to, and let your breath precede you inside. Open the doors more. Make room for a shaft of sunlight to cross the threshold. Give the dust motes something to dance about. Peek through a single slice of possibility and name even the half-hidden truths you see. Open the doors wider still. Pour yourself through the gap. Strut or sneak or sidle as suits you best. Cleanse whatever scrapes catch your skin and bind up the wounds that keep you from entering whole. Open the doors as far as they will go. Draw on the strength of the stones beneath you. Ground yourself in a firm sense of who you are. Stand as a beacon, welcoming the next seeker, and shine far beyond the lintel and sill. Open all that you are, heighten and deepen your connections to the world around you, broaden your definition of neighbor, grow into the largest target for grace that you can muster, and pray to become a gateway for even greater love and compassion. Open up the doors, my friends, lest we keep the stranger out and condemn ourselves to prisons of our own making. Amen. You are invited to come forward this morning and light a candle of remembrance, loving kindness, or hope. Our first candle will be lit to recognize the joys and sorrows of our online community, and the last candle to recognize the unspoken joys and sorrows of all in this room. When we think about hospitality, we think about welcoming people to our homes, to our congregations, to our community. And for many Unitarian Universalist congregations, they have committees for hospitality. That's how important it is to the heart of the community. I contend that any hospitality committee or team is an important ministry of the church. It's how we greet people, how we welcome them to our spiritual home, and how we integrate them into our family. We, as Unitarian Universalists, do a great job with hospitality in person. We are all still working on hospitality online, and I welcome our guests that are online because it is important to know that you're here too, and you are also part of this community. Hospitality is one of the reasons you hear the same things over and over again during the service. While you, dear members and friends of this congregation, have heard them over and over again, you say them each week for your visitors who are experiencing you for the first time. That's hospitality. It's letting them know this is who we are, this is what we're doing, and this is why. And through all of that underlying message is, you are welcome here. When I served in a congregation, one of my favorite things to do was sit in on the orientation session for new members, especially during the time when they shared their journeys of what brought them to that congregation. And inevitably, the majority of new members said that they felt like they'd come home when they came here. How many of you felt that? When you came here, you said, this is home. Yeah, go around, that's a lot. And that's what makes them stay. That feeling of family, of connectedness. The paths to get here are always unique and different, and yet something brought them and brought you through those doors. My own path to Unitarian Universalism came from sitting in my first service and hearing elements of the service and the sermon that spoke to both my soul and made my heart sing. It came from a well laid out and explained order of service that never made me worried or confused about what was going to happen next or what I might encounter. I felt safe. Feeling safe allows people to become vulnerable, and being vulnerable allows trust to build and connections to be made. I've heard this echoed throughout our association. People find their ways to Unitarian Universalism, and for many of them, things they needed and wanted clicked into place, and they felt like they had come home. Home. So that's what we strive for, right? To make a place that is welcoming and hospitable to all who enter our doors. Even now, with our doors also being virtual and our space including little boxes on a live stream or a screen or a Zoom meeting, even here, hospitality is important as visitors now are looking for somewhere they can connect with other humans. Perhaps they're checking us out online to see if this is a place they can come in person and fight off the loneliness that is plaguing our society today. But what if we could do more? In their book, Radical Hospitality, Benedict's Way of Love, authors Lonnie Collins Pratt and Father Daniel Homan say this about hospitality. Hospitality did not begin with Howard Johnson's and Good Housekeeping. Hospitality, as it has been practiced from ancient days, protected people from the dangers of traveling alone. Isn't that the core of what we as a faith community should be? We come together to weather the storms of this world, to bind our wounds, to get fed both spiritually and physically, to gain strength to go out and survive another day. Hopefully, we're also telling others about this place, this respite, this home. And hopefully, we're also telling people that aren't the same as us. Pratt and Homan tell us in their book about pushing for something more than just hospitality. They talk about the idea of radical hospitality. Again, a quote from them. The phrase radical hospitality refers to the activities and desires that inspire individuals and communities to welcome those who are unlike themselves. Rather than viewing any person in terms of how they benefit us, radical hospitality means accepting the person with no thought of personal benefit. Instead of seeking persons who will support the congregation, actively seek persons who need the support of the congregation. To become hospitable means finding ways to welcome the marginalized, the forgotten, and misunderstood among us. Radical hospitality means seeking people who need the support of the congregation, not just those who will support it. Now, don't mishear me. Obviously, we need people to support the congregation in both monetary and non-monetary ways. What I and the authors of the book are saying, though, is that if we are looking to extend radical hospitality, we shouldn't be looking just at what someone can contribute. It means looking for those who need us, who need our saving message of a liberal faith in this world, and especially in this community, and especially now. It means looking for ways we can make them feel fully welcome when they come in, regardless of what they have to offer. Pratt and Homan continued, but radical hospitality calls us to search for the lost ones, those who have nothing to give us, but who instead need something from us. They may or may not be aware of what they have to give in return. Radical hospitality does not keep a ledger of what is given and what is received. And that's really what it boils down to. That's the radical nature of it. To truly welcome in people who need us, even if we don't know if they can offer anything to us. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. What we need to focus on if we're going to truly practice a radical hospitality is that we are safe, that we are that safe refuge for those who need us. And I will tell you now, it will change you. It will change who you are, both individually and collectively. It has to. It will change the demographics of your congregation. It will affect your budget in either direction. It will change how you do things. That's scary. Change is scary. But change is necessary for growth. On the website ministrymatters.com, Robert Schnees says this about radical hospitality in churches. To become a vibrant, fruitful, growing congregation requires a change of attitudes, practices, and values. Good intentions are not enough. Too many churches want more young people as long as they act like old people, more newcomers as long as they act like the old-timers, more children as long as they are quiet as adults, more ethnic families as long as they act like the majority in the congregation. We can do better. It takes practicing radical hospitality. Excuse me for a moment. Could you finish? I need to sit down. Yeah, we're right here.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm just feeling a little dizzy and do not want to pass out.
Okay. Do you need someone to come up and help you?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just going to sit for a moment.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. And all the redirecting of energy and resources and volunteer time that comes with this. Church leaders can't keep doing things the way they have always done them. Little changes have big effects. Church leaders can't keep doing things the way they have always done them. If we want to extend radical hospitality, we need to realize we will need to change some things first. We can't wait until people come and then change. That's not radical hospitality. We need to first think of what we can do to extend that hospitality. I want you to think about all the activities you offer here, both before the pandemic and now. Now, put yourself in the position of someone who works full-time during the week. Do you feel welcome to this community outside of Sundays? How about a single parent with small children who aren't in school yet or who are homeschooled? How about working parents juggling jobs and kids' schooling and activities? What about a high school student, a college student? What about a family with kids and both partners want to attend the same event? What about someone who may not be willing to drive or able to drive? What about someone who isn't well-versed in technology or is and can't access technology or the internet due to economic issues? If you want to grow, if you want to bring in more people, you have to think about doing things differently. Now that we're often relying on video conferencing, how are we building community? How are we making sure people feel welcome? How are we making sure they know about our events? How are we inviting in new people? Over the last few years, in various conversations with various strangers, Reverend Tracie has had the same question asked once they find out she's a Unitarian Universalist minister. Well, the question after, what does that mean? That question is usually, it's fun to read this cold. That question is usually along these lines, that sounds really interesting, but I'm a Christian. Would I be welcome in your congregation? The answer should be yes. After all, we as a faith tradition come out of two different Christian denominations. The Bible is one of our sources. I know many Unitarian Universalist Christians. So yes, there is a place for them in our faith tradition. I would hope there is a place for them in every congregation. Sometimes, though, what we say and how we are end up being two different things. So I'm calling us to think about how a Christian entering this congregation for the first time might feel, or a Muslim, or a Jew, or a pagan, or any other non-mainstream faith tradition. This could also extend into politics, just went off script. So, how do we achieve this radical hospitality? Again, Pratt and Hamann and Benedict's way. Hospitality does not focus on the goal of being hospitable. It is not about the one offering hospitality. Instead, it is singularly focused on the object of hospitality, the stranger, the guest, the delightful other. One of the inherent problems with programs to develop radical hospitality is the focus on hospitality as a goal. Hospitality requires that our focus is on the other rather than attainment of a concept. Yeah, that's great, Reverend Tracie, but how? Pratt and Hamann tell us that first. An inner reality awakening needs to happen. As a group, as individuals, those who wish to make their community more open to others must become convinced that it is necessary. It's not just a good idea, not just a fine program, but a water and breath kind of necessity. When the concept is spoken of, studied, and planned, there is a real danger of the whole process being unconvincing. People are not stupid, and they don't want to be the victim of your well-meaning but heartless hospitality. It means making sure that everything is ready before the guests arrive. In describing life in the monastery for the Benedictine monks, the authors describe how the monks sweep the floors, wash the windows, clean the bathrooms, and make the beds before guests arrive. Schedule cards and maps are placed on pillows, windows are opened for fresh air, and they are ready to answer any question that may arise. They don't wait until the visitors arrive and then ask them what they need. They anticipate what might be needed. Hospitality is more than training people to be nice to each other. They go on to say, be nice and accept each other. Many faith communities painfully function as a dysfunctional family. Personality disorders and complex personal relationships are just unavoidable. But if you want to welcome others, your group will have to get over it, get past it, and find ways to actively forgive and accept each other before ever being capable of truly welcoming others.
Heal thyself, which is why I sat down for a moment. Hospitality isn't about what your group needs or its mission statement or meeting your objectives. It is about serving the guest. Genuine hospitality will cause your group to stretch beyond themselves, and this too is healing. Accept each other, and your group will inherently become more accepting of others. Radical hospitality in this world isn't easy, but in this hurting world, it is necessary. If we are truly living into our faith, if we are truly being who we say we are, then we will work hard to extend it. Growth requires change, and change is scary. But change and growth can be so fulfilling. I wonder where we would be in a year from now if we committed to extending radical hospitality to those in our community and this congregation. I'd like to close with the following from Radical Hospitality. The table is a place where you connect and belong. It is a place where the past remains alive in the memory of the very old, and the future sparkles with possibility. It is enchanted. We lean close together. We share a glass. We tell a story. Through this simple human relating, the universe feels as though it is right again. We all have memories of tables prepared for us and those we've readied for others. Some of the memories are from childhood. Others are memories of good friends, of falling in love, or of deeply connecting with another human being. Meals are powerful symbols in our memory, but someone has to make the meal happen. Someone must consider it important enough to give themselves to the work that goes into preparation. Setting a table and making ready for a meal involves preliminary thought and consideration for others. To do it right, you have to think through your guests' preferences and history. You need to know if they have allergies or chronic illnesses. Preparing for another pulls us out of ourselves. That is one of the good gifts of hospitality. The image of preparing a table or preparing a place is a good overall image for hospitality. In genuine hospitality, we work to make our entire existence a welcoming table, a place prepared for others to be at ease, to receive from us comfort and strength. As we continue to navigate this new normal, may we be challenged to extend radical hospitality to all those around us. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 407. We're going to sit at the welcome table. Thank you. Our closing words today are by Jean M. Rickard Rowe. We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are a people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. Radical hospitality is hard, and it is important. I encourage you to go forth, take these lessons from the Benedictine monks, and find ways you can extend radical hospitality to those in your life, your community, and the wider world.
Thank you, Reverend Tracie. Now, please say these words with me as we extinguish this flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.